Ciao famiglia and welcome to another YouTube video. So in today's video we're going to be talking about 5 things I wish I knew when I started my fitness journey. So before we start, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content so that you never miss anything from me. And then as always familia, if you want me to help you directly reach all your goals, link down below for one-to-one online coaching with me. Now, that being said, let's get into the video. So this video is for people that, for example, want to start the gym, but they're not really sure on where to start because maybe they're a little bit afraid of making mistakes. So it's for beginners, but also for more advanced lifters, of people that have trained for a while, because I thought that I knew a lot, even years into my journey, when I actually discovered a few things that made a difference with my journey. Okay, so thing number 1 that I want you to know, and this is very common as well for a lot of people that start the gym, especially this is for beginners. Okay, let me show you what I mean. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is cardio. And why cardio for me? Yeah, there is actually a lot of people that think that first of all, there's this misconception and they have to start with cardio, and cardio is great to warm up, okay? But if you do cardio, like a long session, for example, it could be on the Stairmaster. For example, I see a lot of people actually starting with glute activation with the Stairmaster, or it could be the cross trainer, or even the treadmill. And don't get me wrong, a little bit of movement, okay, to warm up, 5 minutes max is okay. Okay. However, doing cardio, doing the stairs, the Stairmaster, or doing the treadmill at the beginning of your training, okay? And I used to be one of those people. I used to get on the Stairmaster, do 20 minutes there at the beginning of my session, do those crazy kickbacks. And what it does, it basically gets you tired before your actual session. So weightlifting, as it is, it takes up a lot of your energy, okay? So if you consume the majority of it before doing cardio, you won't have enough energy and enough power to lift weights, because you need enough force, you need 100% of you basically to be able to lift that amount of weight. So while it's okay to do some warm up, for example, 5 to 10 minutes max, however, you don't really need to do that, because glute activation, you don't actually, this is another mistake that I used to make as well. And you know, for me, I'm always going to be honest with you. I always used to be a big preacher of glute activation because I thought it was essential. However, glute activation is not, it's not that if you don't activate, your glutes will not activate during a workout. There is actually no scientific evidence that shows that you must activate doing those fire hydrants, for example, banded stuff before your session. You could just go straight into your weights straight away. However, some people prefer to do it and some people feel like it works better for them. That is completely up to you, but I'm just saying that it's not 100% necessary, if it makes sense. Another mistake is volume, okay? And messing up with volume with your training. And why that's very important, instead to have a structured plan. Let's say you start your leg day. We're talking about obviously glute building for the bunda. Everything is about the bunda, isn't it? So let's say you start your session with the abductor machine. Okay, you know the abductor machine when you sit down, it's that little machine when you sit down and you literally open and close your leg. Then you could do step-ups. Great glute building exercise, isn't it? I'll show you what step-ups are. You need a bench. You just need a bench and you literally step up with weights. You'll be able to grab some dumbbells and step up and then go down. Step up, and go down, controlling. You can really feel it at the bottom of your glutes, okay? So you do abduction machine, step ups, then you could do a banded exercise, for example. It could be monster walks. So I'll show you what it is in case you don't know. Basically, you place a band just above your knees and you move from side to side, okay? I would actually recommend using a fabric one rather than this rubber one, because this is too thin and you wouldn't feel it as much. And with this, you'll start to feel it, and the more you do, more reps, basically, okay? So if you do, for example, I would do minimum 30, so 30 reps for this, okay? So you just walk from side to side, going against the resistance. And you'll tend to feel the burn after. So we were saying, you start with abduction machine, you start with step ups, you do this in between, and then you do hip thrusts, and then you do your squats, okay? These 5 exercises that I told you are great exercises to build your glutes. However, the order is wrong, and it won't probably make you get the most out of your session. Why? Can you tell me why before I tell you? Is there anything you can recognize that there's something wrong in this order? I feel like Dora the Explorer right now, but don't worry, I'll tell you if you don't know. You're basically starting with almost easier exercises, and then you're leaving your main compounds like squats and hip thrusts at the end. And why is that bad? Because when you're doing, for example, your banded monster walk, okay, how much weight am I using? 0. When I'm doing my step ups, yes, obviously you can grab your dumbbells, but there's only so much heavier you can do. What can you lift? Maybe, if you're really, really advanced, maybe 20 kg on each side. If you're advanced. If you're a beginner, obviously you won't be able to, maybe 5 kg on each side. Then abduction machine, again, yes, you can go heavy with that, but that is more of an isolation movement, okay? So all these exercises, they require little to no weight or lighter weight in general, or they're more isolation exercises. You should be doing them at the end. Because if you do them at the beginning, you basically waste exactly the same principle as the cardio there. You waste all the energy that you have at the beginning, because at the beginning of your session, obviously you know you have more energy than towards the end. If you leave the bigger lifts towards the end, you will not be able to lift what you actually can lift, because you'll be too tired already. So in my case, for example, when I do my heavy hip thrust that I can do, actually I did a PB 220 kg last time, actually very, very proud of myself. I do them as my second exercise. So I normally start with squats and hip thrust, and then I will do those at the end. So you see how the order, because I will use all my energy at the beginning for those main compound exercises when I can pack the most weight and I know that I can build my strength on those, okay, and push myself on those. Now, that being said, another big mistake that a lot of, actually, even intermediate and advanced lifters can make sometimes, okay, so not only for beginners, is when they plan a session. So let's say they've got on the workout, always taking into consideration legs, training legs. They start with squats, they do RDLs, they do hip thrusts, and then the isolation ones. So I want to focus on these 3, or any compound exercise you could do in your session, okay? What they do is they try to go as heavy as they can, or and it's true, you should be pushing yourself. If you want to grow your muscles, you need to try and go heavy in a way. I suppose not too heavy, like you can only do 5 reps. You need to be able to do at least 8 reps, but if you grab a weight and you notice that yes, you can do 8 reps, but you can actually do even 20 reps of that, it's a little bit too light, okay? So what you want to do is pick a weight that challenges you, okay? But let's say that what they do with a session, they try to go heavy on all their exercises. So they do squats, they try to go really hard at them, they really try to go as heavy as they can hip thrust, again, try to pack on as much weight as I can, try to go as heavy as I can. RDLs or deadlifts, again, as heavy as I can, and obviously then they do their isolation at the end. This doesn't really require a lot of weight, but they try to push themselves to go as heavy as they can. What's the mistake here? Again, Dora the Explorer question type. If you don't know, I'll tell you. They're trying to max out, okay, or go heavy on all the exercises, and that's humanly, is that a word, humanly? Physically, not possible. You can't try to go heavy on hip thrust, squats, and deadlifts on the same day. No, you can't, just because your body will be tired by the time, because let's say, I'll give you my own practical example, okay, to make you understand this. I was doing my squats, okay, so starting with my squats, my heaviest ever squat was 90 kg, okay, so I did 70 kg, which is okay, still challenging because it's not light. I can't do 20 reps of 70, I can do about 8 to 10, and this is ideal. Then I went on to hip thrust, and hip thrust was my main lift that I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to really push myself on this one. So I did hip thrust as my second exercise as well, so not too far back. And I managed to do 220 kilos, only 3 reps of that, but those completely finished me. I was so tired already. And I pushed through, obviously I could still push through because it was still 3 reps, come on, 1 set. So I kept doing, I lowered the weight, I went on 195 and I did 10 reps. Then I did 170 and I did 12, and 130 and I did 12 reps again. Now, at the end of this is one of my main chunk, the heaviest exercise that I did. After that, I had RDLs, so Romanian deadlifts, in my program. My max on those has been 70 kg. Do you think I would go for 70 kg after my hip thrust, or I would try? No. Do you know how much weight I did? 40 or 35 kg, lightweight, so half the weight of what I would normally do, just because I don't want to stress my muscles out. First of all, because even if I wanted to, my reps would have been ugly. I wouldn't have been able to go through the full range of motion. Yes, I was struggling, but the form would be off. I would try to rush through the sets because I wouldn't even feel them on my glutes anymore at that point, okay? Because you can try and max out or go really, really heavy on all your exercises in one day. You need to alternate. So the easiest way to do this is by doing cycles. So for 6 to 8 weeks, you could, for example, focus like I'm doing now on going super heavy on one type of exercise. It could be squats, hip thrust, whatever. You pick one. I picked hip thrust. And then I do squats moderate, and then the others light, okay? Obviously, the lower the weight that you do, the more reps you want to do, okay? So if you're picking a weight that is lighter, you need to try and burn out of fatiguing your muscles by doing more reps of those, okay? And then after 6 weeks, you could potentially swap and not go as heavy on hip thrust anymore and focus on squats instead. This is how you can actually progress with your lifts, because you can't strive to progress on all lifts at once in one day. You won't be you'll be tired, you won't be able to make it. By the end of the session, or by the end of the huge exercise that you're prioritizing, you're not actually giving your 100% anymore. You're not, because your body will be tired, so you're not maximizing on the gains, okay? And then, so these are the 5 tips, but I'm gonna add one bonus one for you. I'm trying to do a sort of intro. Obviously, let's pretend that I was squatting with a barbell, because in this little gym, unfortunately, there is not a barbell, which is a shame. But the point that I wanted to get at is doing the last little tip is focusing on just compound exercises. So all you do in your training is squatting, deadlifting, hip thrusting. These are the the only things you do, you can do lunges as well, leg press. What these all things have in common is that you're targeting the same muscle area. You're neglecting things like your sides, your gluteus medius and minimus, okay? So squats are great. It's a great exercise, a great compound exercise. Deadlifts are great, and you do need to include them in your session. But you can't just focus on these and that's it, okay? You need to be able to include isolation exercises as well, because your glutes are composed, remember, of different muscles. We got the gluteus maximus in the middle, and then you got the gluteus medius and minimus, okay, on the side. So you need to be including things like abduction on the cable, abduction machine, side kicks on the cables, abduction machine, etc. to target your glutes from all angles so that you can make the most out of your gains. But as always for me, if you want me to help you out with your training and your nutrition as well and making gains in general, link in the description below for one-to-one online coaching. Now, that being said, obviously I didn't cover this as the main tip, but I will mention it anyway. For me, you need to be able to eat and consume the right amount of calories for you. Okay, that's really important. That being said, I hope this video helped you, and kind of, if you were making any of these mistakes, I kind of helped you with those. But thank you so much for watching. I hope I will see you very soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you on the next video.